This is one of the few rides I've gotten to do this year. I've been just really busy with life and uh, new job and all that. Wife, kids, or kid. The second kid is on the way. But anyway, I was able to use my waterproof Chinese GPS that's specifically marketed for motorcycles to come down here, and I built a route using Basecamp and transferred the route into that unit. I was able to do about a third of the trip on dirt and gravel roads, which is about what I was shooting for. Wasn't a long trip. It was about 160 miles from work, so it was less than half a day to get down here. Well under half a day to get down here. But the GPS worked as expected. Uh, it held up to the vibrations and everything fine. I was able to replace the stock. There's a small ball mount that comes with it, and I was able to take that plate off and replace it with a ram mount ball. So a 1-inch ram mount ball. This is a standard ram mount piece. The mounting pattern on the back of that was match up perfectly, so it was real easy to do. Whenever I put it on there, other than putting the route into it, I left it. I left it on the bike overnight for a couple of nights. Nothing's bad happened to it. Granted, we haven't had any rain, so it's just been kind of a dewy, kind of had dewy mornings with it so far. No issues with it. No issues with it on the way here with the vibration going down gravel roads and whatnot. It is Texas, so it's not like the dual sporting here is real challenging. Most of what I rode on today was graded gravel county roads. Even on the Strom, on a lot of those roads, I was able to maintain 50 or 60 miles an hour. There's nothing out here. There's fences on each side. A lot of them didn't even have houses alongside of them. But I wanted to correct something else from my previous video. This is not Android based. This unit is actually Windows CE based, which as far as I can tell, I'm not an expert on mobile operating systems. But just doing some quick Google searching, Windows CE isn't even supported by Windows anymore. So I guess that's how they're able to. One of the reasons where they're able to sell these units so cheap. I mean, you have an IPX7 rated GPS unit for $100, $110. Sometimes more, sometimes less, depends on where you get them from. But I think this is a viable alternative to my aging and slowly dying Zumo 550. The mount is solid. The power cord seems solid. It was easy to hook up. The unit's relatively easy to use. Once you build, you have to build a folder, or you have to build a series of folders in the unit to put routes into, and it's not hard. It took me, I think I messed with it for half a day, thinking that maybe I had a messed up defective unit, and that actually wasn't the case. It was just operator error. Whenever I built the route folder, I named it routes with an S, plural routes, and it needs to be singular route, ROUTE. So that one S on the end messed me up for almost half a day of just sitting there messing with it. But I was actually able to build a route in Garmin Basecamp, save it as a KML file, upload it to this unit, and then load the route. Now, one thing that the unit does do is whenever you load that route that Basecamp builds, is it loops the route. So you'll get, whenever you first start the route, for some reason it generates the end waypoint, not only at the end but at the beginning as well. So it tries to make you go to the end of the route, to the beginning of the route, and then run the route. I found a real easy way to fix that is to simply just go in there after you've loaded it into the GPS, delete the first two waypoints, because your first starting waypoint will be doubled, and your ending waypoint will also be doubled at the beginning. So you'll just need to go in there and delete those, and then save it again as whatever file you want. It's really not that difficult, considering that this unit is 1/6 or 1/7 the price of a motorcycle specific one from Garmin. I'll take that extra, 20 seconds it takes me to go in there and delete a couple of waypoints and resave it. It's not a huge deal to me. Others, they may be a big deal to you, and by all means, the Garmin's are definitely very user-friendly units for the most part. A lot of people don't like Basecamp. I honestly don't have a problem with it. But it works. I mean, I can't complain about it. I'll give more updates as time goes on. Tomorrow I'm just going to use it to direct route right back to my house. I'm not going to try to put a route in it. I'm just going to punch in my address and let it take me home. The maps were pretty accurate. I was kind of trailing it on my phone with Google Maps, and everything was right where it was supposed to be. It did take me down a couple of dead-end roads, which were not its fault. Even Google Maps showed those as good, viable roads, and they were county road. They used to be county roads, and now they're private roads, or they're fenced-off roads. They may not even be private. Texas is weird like that. You'll go down a road, and somebody will fence it off to make it seem like it's private property when it's not. Just the way it goes sometimes. But anyway, that's my quick update on the FOD Sports Motorcycle Waterproof IPX7 GPS unit. I'll give more updates as time goes on. On another note, I forgot my good Kelty 3-person tent at the house, and instead of adding 2 to 3 hours to my ride time to get down here to Bob's place, I just swung by Walmart and picked this up. It's a $24 backpacking tent is what I think is what it's actually advertised as, is a lightweight backpacking tent. And it's just a tube type tent, real simple. There's no rain predicted for tonight, so it's just going to be sleeping in 50-ish degree weather. Maybe a little windy. Shouldn't be too bad. I'm not usually a fan of Ozark Trail tents or low cost tents since I started using Kelties. But this one seems all right for what it is. For basically a $20 bill, you have a little piece of shelter, which is what I needed for the night. And maybe I'll use it more in the future. It is very small. It packs very small. A lot smaller than my Kelty 3-person. But the Kelty, this tent, they say it weighs like 3 pounds. My Kelty tent with everything weighs like 5 pounds, 5.25 pounds. And on the motorcycle, I'll gladly eat that extra 2 pounds and some change for all that extra room. But this will do me for this trip, since I was stupid and forgot my good Kelty 3-person tent. Anyway, that's a separate thing. If you're on the fence about getting one of these Chinese GPSs, I personally, unless you just absolutely want to have a Garmin unit, I personally would give it a shot. At this time, the longevity of the unit, the durability of the unit is yet to be seen, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. There's really nowhere for dust to get into the unit. The only thing that might worry me is shoddy soldering or electrics on the interior of the unit, which may die from just the vibration of living on a motorcycle, especially if you ride off pavement. But so far I like it. I'm just going to keep using it until it dies. I don't know if I'll get the same amount of life I got of it with my Zumo. I've had 2 different Zumo 550s. The first one I sent in for service because the screen stopped working, and they fixed it. But as far as I know, they don't service those units anymore. So I'm not going to go spend. I managed to get that one on a sale, on a discount sale at the exchange on base for half of what it would cost new, and I just can't afford to spend that kind of money that Garmin wants on their new units. So here we go. Give this one a shot. The way I figure it, it beats having to put a plastic baggie over a high-end car Garmin every time I need to go somewhere. Even though those are viable units, if you're okay with doing that, you get a high-end Garmin unit for not much more than what this thing cost, $150 or so. So until next time, I'll give an update on this thing later. Maybe I'll do a review on that 10 over there after I use it a few times. But y'all have a good day.